Why Christopher Nolan filmed the Odyssey for IMAX, the technology that changed cinema. If you've watched Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, there's one thing that's impossible to ignore. The movie looks absolutely enormous. Every mountain feels taller. Every ocean seems endless. Every battle looks larger than life. From the opening scene to the emotional finale, The Odyssey feels unlike almost any other movie released in recent years. That's because Christopher Nolan didn't simply make another blockbuster. He made a film specifically designed to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. In fact, The Odyssey became the first major Hollywood feature film to be shot entirely with IMAX film cameras, making it one of the biggest technical achievements in modern filmmaking. But why did Christopher Nolan go to such extraordinary lengths? Why not use regular digital cameras like most directors? And what makes IMAX so important to Nolan's vision? Let's break it down. Christopher Nolan has always believed that movies should be experienced in theaters. Throughout his career, he's pushed filmmaking technology further than almost any modern director. He shot large portions of The Dark Knight, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, and Oppenheimer using IMAX cameras because he believes the format creates an experience that simply can't be replicated at home. With The Odyssey, however, he took that philosophy even further. Instead of filming only selected sequences in IMAX, Nolan decided to shoot the entire movie using IMAX cameras. That decision wasn't easy. For years, filmmakers avoided using IMAX cameras for entire productions because they were incredibly large, extremely heavy, and notoriously loud. They were difficult to carry, difficult to operate, and difficult to use for dialogue scenes because the cameras produce so much mechanical noise. Most directors reserved them only for action scenes. Christopher Nolan challenged IMAX engineers to solve those problems. According to IMAX CEO Rich Gelfand, Nolan approached the company after Oppenheimer and made a simple request. If IMAX could build cameras that were lighter, quieter, and easier to use throughout an entire production, he promised to shoot his next movie completely in the format. That challenge sparked years of engineering work. IMAX redesigned its film cameras from the ground up. The new generation became significantly quieter, making dialogue scenes practical without sacrificing the stunning image quality that IMAX film is famous for. They also became lighter and easier to handle, giving cinematographers much more flexibility during filming. Once those technical obstacles were solved, Christopher Nolan committed to making cinematic history, and that's exactly what happened. But why does IMAX matter so much? The answer starts with the image itself. Traditional movie screens use a widescreen format that crops part of the picture. IMAX uses a much taller frame. That means audiences actually see more of the image, not simply a larger version of it. Imagine standing on a cliff overlooking the ocean. On a standard screen, you'll see the horizon. On an IMAX screen, you'll also see more of the towering cliffs above and the crashing waves below. Nothing is lost. Everything feels grander. That's why the landscapes in the Odyssey feel so breathtaking. Whether Odysseus is sailing across open seas, climbing impossible cliffs, or standing inside magnificent Greek palaces, the expanded IMAX frame captures details that other formats simply can't display. Christopher Nolan has often said that IMAX doesn't just make movies bigger. It makes them more immersive. The audience isn't simply watching the story. They feel surrounded by it. For a mythological epic like The Odyssey, that level of immersion is exactly what Nolan wanted. He wanted viewers to feel as though they had stepped into ancient Greece. He wanted every voyage across the sea to feel dangerous, every storm to feel overwhelming, every battle to feel enormous. The practical filmmaking also plays a huge role. Christopher Nolan is famous for avoiding computer-generated imagery whenever possible. Instead of relying heavily on CGI, he prefers building real sets, filming in real locations, and using practical effects. That's exactly what he does in The Odyssey. Massive ships were constructed. Real coastal landscapes were photographed. Large-scale battle sequences were filmed with practical elements whenever possible. The incredible resolution of IMAX film captures every tiny detail. From weathered armor and ancient architecture to crashing waves and distant mountains, everything appears remarkably lifelike. This commitment to practical filmmaking is one reason Nolan's movies age so well. Years later, they still look realistic because audiences are seeing real environments instead of digital approximations. There's another important reason Nolan continues choosing IMAX film. While most modern productions use digital cameras, Christopher Nolan remains one of Hollywood's strongest advocates for shooting on physical film. Film captures light differently from digital sensors. Many cinematographers believe it creates a richer, more organic image with incredible texture and depth. For the Odyssey, Nolan believed that timeless quality perfectly matched the ancient world he wanted to recreate. Rather than making Greek mythology feel like fantasy, film photography gives it a tangible historical realism. The audience isn't simply looking at visual effects. They're looking at something that feels almost real. That's one reason critics have praised the movie's cinematography so highly. Of course, shooting an entire movie on IMAX film isn't cheap. It's significantly more expensive than digital filmmaking. The cameras require specialized crews. The film stock itself costs millions of dollars. Processing that film adds even more expense. And every take must be carefully planned because film reels can only record for a limited amount of time before they need to be changed. Christopher Nolan embraces those challenges because he believes the final image is worth it. He often compares filmmaking to craftsmanship. Using the best tools, even when they're more difficult, produces the best results. The response from audiences has certainly supported that philosophy. Many viewers have described The Odyssey as one of the most visually spectacular films ever made. The combination of practical filmmaking, IMAX photography, and breathtaking locations creates an experience that's difficult to match. That's also why IMAX 70mm screenings sold out so quickly around the world. Movie lovers wanted to experience the film exactly as Christopher Nolan intended. Even if you can't watch it in IMAX 70mm, Nolan has said that any IMAX presentation is closer to his original vision than a standard screen. The expanded image alone makes a significant difference. So why did Christopher Nolan film The Odyssey entirely for IMAX? Because he wasn't just making another movie, he was creating an experience. He wanted audiences to feel the scale of ancient Greece, the danger of the open sea, the loneliness of Odysseus' journey, and the breathtaking beauty of one of history's greatest stories. For Christopher Nolan, IMAX wasn't simply a format. It was an essential part of the storytelling itself. And after watching The Odyssey, it's easy to understand why he believes some stories deserve to be seen on the biggest screen possible. What do you think? Have you watched The Odyssey in IMAX, Dolby Cinema, or standard theater? Did the IMAX experience live up to the hype? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd also love to know where you watched the film. Did you experience it in IMAX 70mm, IMAX with laser, Dolby Cinema, or a standard theater? If you've seen it in more than one format, tell everyone which one you think offers the best experience and why. Your recommendation could help other movie fans decide which ticket to book. And here's another question for all the Christopher Nolan fans watching. Which Nolan film has the best cinematography? Is it Interstellar, Dunkirk, Oppenheimer, The Dark Knight, or do you think The Odyssey has now taken the top spot? Let me know your ranking in the comments. If you're new to the channel, we regularly cover movie explanations, ending breakdowns, hidden details, behind-the-scenes facts, and everything you need to know about the biggest films of the year. So if you don't want to miss our upcoming videos on The Odyssey, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've also created several videos covering The Odyssey's ending explained, the biggest changes from Homer's original epic, why Odysseus leaves Ithaca again, Poseidon's role in the story, Athena's relationship with Telemachus, and many more character breakdowns. If you haven't watched those yet, be sure to check them out after this video. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video.